Earth, our beautiful and lonely planet. We want to travel far in the universe, but I believe there is still so much beauty to see and explore on our planet. And maybe that's what really motivates me, that inspires me to go for the biggest adventure of my life so far. I will be solo cycling from Ushuaia, Patagonia, for 2 years until the northern city in Alaska. But how did I get to this decision? Let me try to explain. I'm Giacomo, a 27 years old aerospace engineer from Italy. Since I was a child, I've been traveling really a lot with my parents around the world, and I spent my childhood mostly outdoors in the countryside, where I was often dreaming to become an astronaut to explore beyond this planet. And maybe this is what led me to get a master's degree in space engineering. I did my master's in Sweden, Stockholm, where I've been living for 1.5 years. And in Sweden, I really had an amazing time and I enjoyed so much the snow, the absence of sun, but especially jumping into frozen lakes. After that, in 2020, I did my master thesis in Tokyo, Japan, with the Japanese Space Agency. And then COVID happened and I really had to decide if I wanted to come back to Italy or find some way to stay in Japan. I've been really lucky because I met Masato-san, this retired engineer that hosted me for 2 months, and together we have been fishing, searched for bamboo sprouts, and learned to cook a lot of amazing Japanese dishes. But before starting to work, I truly wanted to go for a great adventure, and I went solo backpacking the interior of Iceland for 50 days. And I remember that at that time I had no experience in traveling by bike, so with my savings I just bought a second-hand bike and the essential equipment, and I had no idea how to plan a route, how to cycle with persistent rain, how to repair a bike, but I was really motivated to do it and I found my way to go for it. And I really embraced the solitude of this journey and learned so much about myself, really so much. After Iceland, I found a job in a space startup, and I've been really so happy in this startup. Every day the time was flying. I settled down in Milan, and I really believe at that time that I found my stability. I found a sweet spot between work, adventure and friends. And then something happened, because I remember that night in April 2022 in my small apartment in Milan, I was just looking at the videos of this guy cycling from Alaska to Patagonia, and at some point this question popped out of nowhere, out of my mind, and I thought, why not? Why don't I do the same thing? And that question just, spread out like petrol on a bonfire. I just realized that I could really actually do something like this. Since that night, I was just thinking about this every day. A couple of months later, I asked my boss if I could work remotely for 3 months from Nepal. And when I left, I had this big question in my mind. Do I really want to cut out my stable life and career to cycle from Patagonia to Alaska? And the time of Nepal has been really mind-blowing. I met people and had experiences that really changed my life. When I came back from Nepal, I had a clear answer in my mind. Yes, from the deepest down of my heart. I felt I needed one last test before this big leap. I went for 3 weeks solo cycling in the Mongolian steppe. Probably this is another story, but how I came back from Mongolia was really different. I realized that there is no better moment in my life to do something like this than this moment, because I'm really at the peak of my strength, of my desire to wander, to see the world, and also my maturity in understanding the world, in talking with the people. I really wanted for my life to take a gap year, and then opportunities were just appearing in front of me, and I understood that some trains only pass once. There's a timing for everything, a time to study, a time to explore, a time to build a family. And then I knew that this was the moment to buy the flight ticket. One night, in the middle of the night, I was just staring at the screen. I took the courage and I pressed the button to buy the flight ticket to Ushuaia. Truth is, I'm not a photographer, nor an athlete, nor an influencer. I'm just a sensitive person, really curious about life in all its forms and keen on adventure. In my journey, I will be sharing stories, reflections, and setbacks along the way. I would be very happy to be able to inspire somebody to do something like this, or even just to inspire, to motivate one person to do the extra mile in their life. I really know how I started this journey, but I really have no idea how and where I will end up. But I know that somehow I will find a new solution, a new equilibrium.
Okay, run! Run, run, run!
And maybe all these reasons, all these whys, are just a way for me to rationalize what I truly feel deep down myself. Because when I explore, when I face the unknown, when I push the boundaries of my comfort zone, I feel that this is really me, 100%. And maybe the question is not even why, but why not? In this phase of the preparation, there are just so many moments that do not feel real. Like when I'm saying to my colleagues that I'm quitting my job but not going to any other company. Or when I'm letting my friends know that I will be away for the next 2 years. Also just actually editing this video. I've been imagining this moment for so long, and now it's here, right in front of me. Is this a dream? Am I doing this for real? In 2 months, will I really be cycling towards Alaska? I know that many moments throughout this journey will not be very exciting, as I will be just moving the pedals turn after turn. But I'm sure that adventures I will lead will just make this journey wild. So I mean, if you're really excited, as I am, for this crazy journey, jump on the back of my bike and come with me, cycling beyond this planet.